Hey everyone, welcome to the Dumbest Comic Book Costumes Volume 3. Superheroes are supposed to look cool, but sometimes their outfits are so dumb you just have to laugh. After the first video, I got so many comments that I figured why not turn this into a series. There are just way too many ridiculous costumes out there that deserve a spot. Also, a quick disclaimer. I know this is all pretty subjective, so these aren't really top 5 rankings or anything. It's just a showcase of 5 hilariously bad costumes that we've got to talk about. Okay, let's get into it. In Captain America issue number 180, Steve Rogers gives up on being Captain America after losing faith in the government and decides it's time for a new look. He supposedly spends hours and goes through 3 whole pads of paper designing a darker, moodier costume. Once the costume is ready, he struggles to come up with a name. He considers Daredevil, which is already taken, Captain Blood, Gypsy, and even Vagrant, before landing on Nomad, which he likes because it means a man without a country. When Nomad finally hits the scene, the costume isn't great. It's got gold boots, a gold belt, a cape, and a deep open chest, making it wildly impractical and honestly kind of ridiculous. Compared to his classic Captain America suit, which was sleek and functional, the Nomad outfit feels like a big miss. It's no surprise the look didn't stick. By Captain America number 184, Steve was back in his iconic red, white, and blue, realizing he could stand for his ideals without blindly supporting the United States government. Still, the name Nomad lived on, getting picked up later by characters like Jack Monroe and Ricky Barnes. The Russo brothers even teased Cap's Nomad identity before Avengers Infinity War, but luckily they didn't bring back the original costume. While the Nomad era was short-lived, one of those weird, memorable moments in Captain America's history that fans can't help but look back on and laugh. Now for a costume that was created to be dumb on purpose. Irving Forbush made his debut as Forbush Man on the cover of Not Brand Ek number 1, Marvel's hilarious parody series. His first full story and origin, crafted by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Tom Sutton, appeared in issue 5 of the same name. Irving Forbush is your average, well-meaning goofball with big dreams of becoming a superhero, living with his overbearing and harsh aunt. Irving's journey begins in the most unlikely way. One day, while he is washing dishes, his aunt furiously tosses a cooking pot onto his head. Rather than letting the humiliation get to him, Irving is struck by inspiration and creates one of the dumbest costumes ever. He modifies the pot by drilling eye holes, creating his makeshift superhero mask. Paired with his trusty red long johns and black galoshes, Forbush Man is born. While Forbush Man never achieved household name status, he remained a recurring presence in Marvel's humor titles. He appeared regularly in Not Brand Ek during its original run, and made a comeback in the 1990s comedy series What The?, where his absurd escapades delighted fans of Marvel's satirical side. Forbush Man's biggest moment in modern comics came in 2010's Captain America Who Won't Wield the Shield, a parody one-shot that took playful jabs at Marvel's iconic characters and storylines. It's unlikely that the goofy Forbush Man will ever take center stage in the Marvel Universe. With his fourth wall breaking antics and self-aware humor, he paved the path for characters like Deadpool, and pioneered the kind of meta-commentary and irreverent humor that later became a defining feature of Marvel storytelling, proving that even the most unlikely hero with an incredibly dumb costume can find a place in Marvel's ever-expanding universe, especially when humor is involved. The next costume, worn by Cosmic Boy, has been referred to as both the stripper costume and the disco costume. While both names are fitting, more commonly known as his Bronze Age costume. When I first saw this outfit, I was absolutely speechless. It replaces all the pink elements from his previous costumes with bare skin. It's as if Cosmic Boy decided to wear a strapless black swimsuit, cut a massive section out of the middle, and accessorized it with black gloves and boots. Honestly, how does this thing even stay on his body? This peculiar redesign debuted in Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes issue number 214 in 1976, and stands out as one of the most bizarre costume choices ever. Some have speculated that it was a coloring mistake, but no, it was entirely intentional. While I'll agree that Mike Grell's artwork brought many positive changes to the book, including some new great character designs, this particular look just doesn't work for me. I'm sure there are fans who appreciate it, but all I can see is a skin-colored tee with abs. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman, is known for her classic, iconic Fantastic Four costume. Not every look of hers has been a winner. One of her absolute worsts was the infamous redesign in Fantastic Four issue number 371, featuring a completely unnecessary and ridiculous boob window, shaped like a giant four. This bizarre costume choice came out of nowhere, tied to an abrupt personality shift that made Susan colder and more detached, with no real explanation. And seriously, what was the purpose of that cleavage window? It added nothing nothing to her character and felt entirely out of step with who Susan Storm is. As the heart of the Fantastic Four, Susan's character has always been defined by her strength, empathy, and intelligence. This costume, however, seemed to prioritize the shock value and objectification over any meaningful development. Unsurprisingly, it's widely regarded as one of her most hated looks, more of a step backward than anything that enhanced her role as a superhero, and definitely a dumb costume. In January of 1967, Black Hawk issue 228 kicked off one of the weirdest eras for the team. It all started when Batman told the President of the United States that the Black Hawks were washed up has-beens. To fix their image, the team got new identities and costumes. And let's just say they weren't that great. But the worst of the bunch? Chuck, the team's communication specialist, now called the Listener. His costume was basically a purple pajama set covered in ears. Seriously, it's a stretch to even call it a costume. It's hard to imagine how the rest of the team didn't burst out laughing every time they saw him. Not to mention the fact that it has zero utility at all, and it just looks really stupid. Fans weren't into it either. The new look for the team was so unpopular, the series started losing about 71,000 readers per issue. After just 14 issues, the team ditched their new outfits and went back to their classic uniforms. The Listener's pajama phase is one of those what were they thinking moments in comic history. And that's 5 more of the dumbest costumes in comic book history. Let me know down in the comments which ones you thought were the worst. And if you know of any more ugly costumes, put those down too. If you missed Volume 1 or Volume 2, you should check out those videos on my channel. I've gotten tons of suggestions for ugly costumes. I even put a list in the description for this video for all the costumes that have been covered so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss Volume 4. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.